born in a body in a non-spiritual, artificial technology, not even a human-controlled matrix, but a technologically controlled matrix, run by technological, artificial beings or vessels that download human thought into their vessel, if you like, and then simulate or emulate human beings, real spiritual. That is the game of this artificial control matrix. And I am standing here on Parramatta Road. I was going to film earlier, but it is very hot and I'm standing in the shade here because in the sun, it's 27 degrees here in Sydney today and in Leichhardt, and there is not a cloud in the sky, and it is humid and warm. It's almost like a summer day. And yet it is, I think, the 11th of September. I hope my sound is coming out because I've got the blue tack in my ears, so I can't hear too well. But I can hear the traffic still, but it doesn't appear to be particularly loud today. And there are no trucks. It is a Saturday, I think. So less, but I just stopped. I was going to wait till I got down to the water place and then got the coffee, 7-Eleven. But I realised when I hit Parramatta Road that I'd left all my money behind. In fact, I've left my house door key behind and all my credit card for getting the coffee behind on the beach. Because there was noise coming from somewhere. That was after we had the bongo music or voodoo music from opposite that really is just banging. Like there's no vocal, there's no melody, there's no nothing, it's just bang, 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 opposite. And then after that they started up with some sort of technical machinery. I don't even know. I wouldn't even go outside to check it. I just stuffed the stuff in my ears straight away and said I'll try to get out as quick as possible. And I rang my son to meet him for the coffee. Normally I get the coffee and bring it into the little water place there, although yesterday we had to move from there because even he is now sick of the noise of the traffic. He doesn't like, if I say it, he doesn't acknowledge it and gets annoyed, but when he says it, we just move. And, but anyway, I stopped here because I was going to wait till I got down to the water place, but I stopped here to show you what I was talking about, because who's ever done this has got them all over most of the places that I walk around Leichhardt, which isn't a real lot of a pleasant time. But see how this is really in red, and see how it's like a red, almost like what I noticed it, and all of a sudden it came to me the day before yesterday actually, when I saw it in red like this, not this one but another one in red, just not far from here in fact, just when I was coming round into Piggy Lane, but I didn't turn the video on at that point. I waited till I got right into Piggy, just when I was going through that little walkway into Piggy Lane, you know. But that is it in red, and it looks more like a bleeding part, doesn't it? Whereas originally I thought it was a funny heart, which is interesting, because sometimes maybe he changes it sometimes. I don't know, or the person that does it changes it. It's funny. But, in some respects, it's so hot. And of course, silly me has got a jacket on. When, you will see that everyone around will just be walking around not dressed hardly at all, because it is almost like a really summer's day. But I'm never sure, you see. And also, I needed a pocket to put the mobile in. The big ones and the little ones with the bike, little push bike, fake brigade, everything is fake in this world. All those people that appear to be real people. See, there really should be no one almost standing here except me, because really, there's nothing open here. Everything is closed. Every shop, and most of those shops are not open anyway. Like, even when there is no total lockdown, as there is at the moment. Every single one of those shops that I'm showing you across the other side of the road there are never open. In fact, in other words, you never see the door open where people go in. They must do business some other way. Because you never see them open. They're always closed. Even that one over there, that shop, and even that kitchenware thing. Rarely do you see that door open. I've often commented that and said, I wonder why they never seem to be open. That's funny, isn't it? But Patrick says that's because they do their business online or something like this. The same with that shop up there, which I would like to show Sean that one, only because I'm on the wrong side of the road, and as you can see, they put a railing along the centre there, so I can't just run across. They probably do that years ago because they know what I'm going to do now. They know that, that I would probably, like if the traffic was stopped, I would probably nick across as opposed to going all the way down to the lights. But, maybe I wouldn't do it now anyway, but when I was younger I certainly would have. But in that shop up there, I wanted to show Sean what was in there, because just recently they've added a big, a red London bus in the display on the front window, but I'm on the wrong side of the road. Maybe I'll get it another time. I could even get it on the way back, but I'll be walking back with Patrick, and he's not up for me filming the traffic and Leichhardt. But they've added, a London red bus in the display. In fact, they've also got a red telephone box there in the thing, and they do have a picture on the side that is like which is obviously London and has a London bus. And this is because they download human thinking around here from, like, if I'm thinking about London, which obviously I do think about it a lot. So they actually think that means that it is a good thing to put that in their window, because they just download all human thinking. It may seem ridiculous. Sometimes they do ridiculous things because we might think funny stuff that might not even be appropriate for some things, but they will still stick it in their windows because they have to appear to be real human, because they don't know how to do it, I don't think, otherwise. See, these all these things that you see around, these human-like, humanoid, you could say, I think that was like a word, you'd say humanoid, but they're not real spiritual human beings. They're technical, non-spiritual android beings. That's the best way that I can describe it. I hope this volume is up on my mobile so that you can hear me, because you know, I'm out in the open here, and it's so hot I don't want to go onto the sunny side because I've got a jacket on and it's 27 and it feels like about 30 playing possum. If I wasn't filming, that fella on the motorbike would really rev that engine up, and particularly if I didn't have the blue tack in my ears. I have been caught a few times with that, especially if I'm feeling a bit better, or I could mention a few incidences. As you can see, this shop has been closed for quite a long time because they normally change this display window quite a lot to get me to look in it. But I was just going to make the point that everything, here we go, another one that, you know, that are full of energy because they consume human energy, and so they can run past while I'm dragging myself and just about exhausted. And when they said in that other video, oh, they'll swap the body for a day, and that was just my little joke, but basically I just an excuse to film the different bodies for a second, even though you do, of course, notice them. They stand out a mile somewhere. But what I'm trying to say is they, they have all of this energy because they consume human energy, just as they also consume human thought, basically emulating humans to take them over in these last days so that they can influence them, control them, and ultimately take them completely over. But what I am trying to say here see, there should be no one walking along here, really, to be honest, only because there's nothing open, absolutely nothing, and it's hot. I'm going down to the 7-Eleven, but I've got no money, so I'll have to wait for Patrick. I really did need that coffee because I was exhausted, and even a cold drink of some sort because I'm dehydrated. I was already dehydrated before I left home. That's why they leave bottles of water around on the street with certain amounts in it, as if to say, you are dehydrated by a certain amount. They mock you that way. But what I was going to say about proving just a point, how there's no reason for anyone to be up here, and that all these shops are essentially dead, like the people. You know, these are your dead android anti-life beings that are essentially dead spirits. Now, when I go down to the cemetery, I might try and make a better video on that. That's, of course, if I can concentrate, because, as you well know, there will be people in the park and probably workmen, all this sort of stuff, so that you can't concentrate. There's 2 pigeons over there. It's not going to come out in the heat over there on the top of that roof. No one else would notice them except me, but they're there. But what I was going to prove a point here. See, this is the Salvation Army shop, see? It's called the Salvo store, see? Make of all these things what you will, because I haven't got time for the synchronicity. There'll probably be a fair bit of reflection here today. Let me see. But what I am going to say is that, see this shop here? This big, it's quite a big shop, see? It's quite big. It used to be originally, when I first came here, it used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and a rather good one too. but that went for a number of years. That's like 30 years ago. And then it became some other store. I forget what it was for a while. And then it was like a big baby shop. It was called Baby Bounce, where it had all prams, prams, and all baby stuff. But that folded up about a year or so ago, maybe. Yeah, about a year ago that folded up. Maybe a bit more than a year now. Maybe a year and a few months, because I remember starting to pick up the London Synchronicity, particularly in the windows of this Salvo shop. I could have shown you many things, not just how they were playing me, because they even used to have like picture frames with landmarks of London on them for sale, like stuck in the window and stuff like this, because they knew at that time that at that very time, from I think it was about May or June, I became very fixated on the idea of getting to London. Very fixated on it, and they knew that. That's why within 2 months, plane travel to England had been stopped in Australia, or in at least, but interesting. Synchronicity, coincidence, or matrix. There's a bullfighting picture there. They know how I dislike bullfighting, so they put a bullfighting picture in the window there. That's just so I'll focus on it, so that I don't know, for whatever purpose they have in mind. And they've left these bags here for me because they know that I will buy that bag when they finally open up again. But I'll find that one thing. But anyway, my point is that they've been going now for about a year and 3-4 months or something, since about May. Could have been before that, but I certainly noticed that they were leaving stuff in the windows about them. But look now, see how I say that nothing survives and everything is dead around here? Look. Because I like to go in this shop and buy a few things, and I certainly like to browse. I know it's not open now and won't be open probably I probably won't be able to go in here for another couple of months, I would think. But, see, can you read it? They're going to close this down. See, that says notice of development proposal. So that means that at some point, like the house down next door to me, almost next door, where they put the sign on, only with this place, they'll probably do it reasonably quick. So that will be, they're going to turn it into some units or something. So that shows you, like I said, that none of these shops can last, not even this, which is essentially a second-hand type shop, and very novel, and has a lot of stuff. I'm going to slowly walk down because I'm only putting these videos out at a personal level, but if anyone else wants to listen, that's fine. I will try to throw in stuff about the matrix that I can concentrate. Now, I'm going to cross these bikes. They just nearly run you over, even the push bikes. There are a lot of them electric bikes now too, so they don't actually have to pedal. In fact, I've got one at home if anyone wants to come, because Patrick left an electric bike in my living room because he bought it because it was cheap, even though he has the scooter. He's only ridden it once. But he was even going to resell it for some more money, but instead he's left it in my living room. I usually end up with all that stuff. but I can't write it myself. It's the wedding shops or the wedding shops. The wedding shops. Getting too much reflection probably. I don't look so hot. I feel very hot, but I certainly don't look it. So occasionally you catch a glimpse of yourself and you wonder what has happened to you. But you know that because you do it. It's not to be too negative or to be too bothered, shall we say, because yes, I did see that actually. But you know, there's some truth even when you get, you know, there's some truth even when I miss those lights. I miss the lights. I hope I'm not blurring this. I miss the lights. I'm going over onto the hot side. So normally up until today, I've been happy to cross over onto the sunny side while I'm on the day shift because it's been cold, you know, especially if it's earlier in the morning and stuff, depending on what time I'm out. But this is now after midday. In fact, it's the hottest time. And as you can see, not a cloud in the sky today. I'll show you when I get on the other side. Yesterday we had some clouds, even though it was also reasonably warm. This is only spring now. A pigeon just flew across. Oh, it's good. I thought he was going to land over me. I think we'll be able to go. He's gone in front of me. Is he trying to say that I should be? Well, that's unusual for someone that's probably my age to just walk across when the lights are not in favour, but they are in favour now, even though it says green here. The big red ones were beside it. Was I didn't actually press the button. I better hurry because they do come around rather quick. I know they won't knock me over, but they do like to sideswipe you a bit, if you know what I mean. Get close, but, you know, oh, it's hot on this side, I have to say, but look, wait on it. Traffic is relatively quiet as far as I can tell. I've got stuff in my ears, but I can't, even with stuff in my ears, I can normally hear the trucks and if a car or a bike revs its engine, particularly when it goes close past, as they do seem to do these days. Every car seems to want to do that. Maybe not so much when I'm filming. That will depend on what I'm saying too. Maybe if I say something that is not favourable somehow, they might perhaps make more noise to where I get confused and therefore don't make too much sense. See, it's very hot on this side. It is very hot here. See, it's all sun. Now, look at that. So that says it's going to supply chain solutions. Yes, well, they have their supply of chain supply solutions to the human problem. That's how I'd word that one. But I'm so hot here, I can't. But I'll be okay. You need to get Parramatta Road's like that. If you go on that side in the shade, but it's like sunny, hot day. Because I think it's 27 or 28 today. That's what it said on my mobile before I left. It says, welcome to Petersham. See, this side of the road is actually Petersham. That side of the road is Leichhardt. That's the boundary, I think. It says, welcome, probably won't come out because there's a lot of sun. Welcome to Petersham, a diverse, vibrant and innovative community. Yeah, well, they're very innovative because they download human thinking, human thoughts. You know, that's their idea of innovation. They don't come up with anything themselves. They don't have to. They're lazy and they're androids. So they just download and they think it is their right to take it. Because they've set up this technological matrix around me and other humans, they think it is they think they're justified and ancient, as that song went. Remember how I mentioned that a long time ago? And therefore they think that they have the right. They feel entitled that they, are the superior ones and can just take anything they want from real spiritual human beings. They don't think that they should give them anything in return or give them any show them any respect or any anything at all in return. They think that we are just here to serve them, even though we are not intentionally serving, because unless I completely stop thinking and feeling and living and reacting, which that's another thing too, I provoke you to react so that then they understand the human emotions and therefore they can emulate them. See how warm it is? See, that fella's got thongs on and a t-shirt and shorts, and it is really just spring. Silly me, on the other hand, has got, long sleeves, a heavy jacket, which is really a winter jacket. And there's a light on up there in that thing. I've noticed that. I notice the little things. So, my hand is actually burning almost here, even though I've got gloves on. It actually feels quite hot. But I'm not going to complain about that because maybe my hand can do with a bit of that warm. So. But at any rate, I'll just try to film this and show you that it is a completely clear blue sky. Not a cloud in it. There's a pigeon flying past, but that will make me jerk the camera to get on it. Oh, I almost look a bit red in the face there. Actually, if I was out in this without my hat, because I've got to keep the hat for the 7-Eleven so they can't see my face as I go in with the baskets. Of course, I'm not using the mobile to sign in. So, I actually would probably get red. I'd probably turn red because it is really warm. I can feel my back was burning. But it would come through that shape. But that's good. That would be a little bit scorched. Doji. I'm nervous. I can't concentrate. I'm very hot. And I need to get down here to the water place. I have to wait for Patrick because I can't go to get the coffee because I have left my card and my key behind at home on the table. I could really do with a coffee and a cold drink of some sort. Hot. Look at that. But I've just tried to override my own discomfort here and show you that it is a complete clear blue sky. 100% clear blue sky. Where is the sun? Where is it? There it is. And it is blazing down. And this is just the start of spring. So today, even though it is really too warm for me, because like I say, it actually feels, it's humid too, I'm actually sweating. But that sky, but I hope that I'm sending it nice and warm and clear, and that us in Sydney are sending it warm and clear to to London, where it might be starting to get, because they've been coming out of something, where they will enjoy the last of pleasant, sunny, or more warmer weather. Because, I've just come out of winter, and at the beginning of every winter, I always say, I hope I make it through the winter, because I really do dread the cold, especially when you're out at all different times, like I sometimes will venture out coldest times. And, like of at night time, it's colder than even the daytime. And I'm a night owl as well as a day, a day owl. But, okay, so the old saying is, only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. And it was midday, just after midday when I left, and it's probably heading towards it's probably about 1 now, maybe. But this is the hottest time of the day. There's the kebab shop over there. So mad dogs and Englishmen, only mad dogs and Englishmen will go out in this midday sun. And I'm not an Englishman, but maybe I'm a mad dog. And I'm going to be very, hopefully, amusing. Actually, I can't believe it in a way. But actually, back in the old movies, back in the 50s or the 40s and 50s, sometimes if a girl was unattractive and not appealing to you, you might, some of the fellas might call the girl a dog. And certainly that's how I feel in this reality, because there are no real people, or very few, that are of the natural order. And even us that are left are so brought down by that yes, we're like dogs, and also mad dogs, that's right, because you're driven around the twist by this reality, because you are surrounded by negative, technical, artificial, programmed people that are working against you in any and every way they possibly can. Even if it's just patrolling and walking around, they probably won't come out that they're on the other side of the road, at least they're on the shady side. I am absolutely roasting here, I can tell you. It is hot. Oh. My legs will get very, very hot. But it is very, very hot, but it's so clear. So maybe I'll send some of the heat to places where they might like me. I'm not sure if I can do that. He blinked his light at me, but it's not going to come out, I don't think. Why? There's someone nearby blink their light at me. That's Matrix Control System Operator. Let me just get up here because it is so hot. I know I shouldn't be bothered, but I am. But hey, that's the least of my bother. Normally, it's just that I've got too much on, and this is always the hot side of the road. Can you see the reflection over there? That is the God entity's matrix light over there, reflecting off that car. Can you see it? That is a car park, but can you see that bright light as though there's a bright light? That is just purely what looks like a reflection, but it is very bright and not natural at all. I don't know whether this is going to come out, but this is a very clear, very hot day. Look at that sun. Is it coming out? It is blazing down. It really is. Oh, I can hardly hold this in. But I'll tell you what. Oh, just nudity. Those cars that are coming up there in the distance, it will not come out. But about 3/4 of them have got their lights on. Look, that car has its lights on, but it's not going to come out on this sort of day. That is not normal, not sensible, and there's no reason for it. But they are showing their connection, their allegiance, their belief in themselves, in their technology, and in what they are, and in their survival at this end time. See, that car there's got its lights on, that truck, but it won't come out. See how slow it's going? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Normally I don't mind. I was hoping to actually film a better video up here, and I was even going to start somewhere else, but I was even going to go further up there, but I am actually quite hot. See how those car lights there that have just pulled in and just parked over there on the other side of the road have both got their headlights still on. It won't come out, it's too small. But these cars have got their headlights on. See, it's not going to come out because there's too much bright light, but I can see that nearly all these cars that are here have got their headlights still on in broad daylight on a very hot day. There's reflection coming off that car up there too, almost like bright lights hitting you. Not natural at all, but appear to be sun reflection. This one blinking its light. Notice how that one, did you see how, did that come out on the thing? That car blinked its light and was about to pretend to go round the corner and then just went straight in front. And he waved his hand at me and said, I don't know, I didn't even see that, as he went past. That is blatant. That was blatant. But some people would say, well, maybe he accidentally put his blinker on. Maybe these cars accidentally do all this. Access removal. It's too big access removal. I'm not sure what to make of that, but certainly they're giving me the hint that I should be moving, and that is so true. I have not found a way to move. But see, I don't even know how to use the computer to see how to find a place, even to move temporarily somewhere. You know, I need people to help me with that. And getting matrix people, or people who don't want to see you know, basically surviving at a reasonable level. Not while they can have you stuck in a place where they can consume negative energy from you. Because, you know, if your survival depends on not only getting the human thought and the human emotions and human information from human beings, but also getting negative energy from them, they will do anything they can to keep you in the most negative surroundings. So they won't get anyone that will help you to, you know, to do anything for you, even just basic things. And most of the time, even if they pretend to help you, they might say, oh, I'd like to help you, and I checked that out for you, but it's no good. You have to believe them, that what they're telling you is true. And, you know, we are living in the land of Pinocchio, the land of, you know, where the nose gets long, because all Pinocchio ever did was lie and lie and lie, because he wanted to be a real human being. He knew that if he could fake being a real human being, he thought that maybe he would become real, and maybe therefore he could, I don't know why in fairy tale why he particularly needed that, but in this reality it is a survival thing for the artificial technical species that has been around a long time. There are 3 pigeons That one. I'm going to have to sit in the shade there on the steps and wait for Patrick to come. But there are 3 pigeons perched on the top of that building over there in the blazing sun. They're actually a little bit in the shade because the sun's not hitting them. But there's 3 pigeons. Now, what does that mean to you? 3 pigeons. 2 are on the ledge below and there's 1 perched on the top. None of them are close together though either. Normally mated pigeons sit reasonably close, but then again they don't sit close all the time. You know, they're not lovey-dovey 24 hours a day. But sometimes you will see them kissing and conversing, and it is ever so cute to watch if you're lucky enough to see it. That sort of stuff doesn't appeal to this artificial matrix crowd that is all around here. But if they see me liking it, they will emulate it. An example yesterday, just up there, we couldn't sit in there because they pulled all the cars in there. So Patrick said, let's just go up the corner, and we just sat on the concrete just round the corner to drink the coffee. And it was in the shade too, so it was all right for me. I didn't mind. And a magpie came along, and Patrick had just bought a bag of groceries, and I said, can he have some of the chicken that I've got in there? You know, it was just like whole chicken in a plastic bag, and I just threw a tiny bit to it. And the minute I threw it to the magpie and he started eating it, this fellow just appeared out of nowhere. Patrick actually said, the fellow just behind us at the dumpster, because basically they've got everything set up, you know, to where they can do stuff all the time. And he started throwing stuff at the magpie, even low. The little bit I gave him was more than enough. But even Patrick should have noticed that was funny. But they immediately downloaded what we were doing and copied. Had to outdo, had to appear to be better than you, more human than you by doing that. It was ridiculous in a way. But you see that all the time. Patrick said, I suppose the fella always does that. You know, the matrix, you know, if you feel that you don't want to accept that this is a matrix, then you will, you know, see rationale when there may not really be rationale. You will always cover for the matrix. You'll always, because it's too hard. I don't understand. See, there again, that would depend on what you're made of. And even you know, I just sit here. I'll just sit here and film the rest of this. I'll sit on the steps because I really am hot. And I really would take the coat off, but because I've got the mobile out here, I don't want to, I'm not rough and ready like most people. I can't, sorry about that. But I had to sort of throw myself onto the seat almost. And it's hot. Actually taking my shoe off. I better not show you my foot because I used to actually have, this is close, but I used to have what I consider to be quite pretty feet. They're not anymore. They're not anymore. They're a little bit out of whack, and also I don't tend to worry about them, but they used to be. But I never did look after them or worry about my feet. I thought they're just for walking. But I did used to actually think that I had kind of small, kind of well-proportioned, pretty feet in the sense that I only had small toes and quite small and everything, You know, but now over the years they're still small, but they're a little bit out of whack. But some people might have worse though. It depends on I don't think that's natural or normal. There's no reason the feet should deteriorate greatly. And there is a lot of negative frequencies that get sent at your legs and feet inside the house and even outside. I mean, I have actually had negative frequencies in this very spot where I'm sitting at a night time occasion, to where I felt it, and then I can't, my legs were, one leg, but they always tend to go for one leg or 1 foot, and, then you can't move your foot, and so you can't walk very well. You can use, see that fella's in the heat there jogging past on the hot side. That is not sensible, really. That is not sensible on the other side in the shade, because it really is hot on this side. It actually is. It feels like about 30, 32, especially if you're running. But they don't care, because they're programmed to come and get the energy as they come past. And basically also they don't like you to sit here on your own too long. See, I'm sitting here. There's my foot. Actually, it feels good to take it off, even though I don't really like to take my shoes off. You really just want to be wearing thongs and sandals today. But I don't have any walking sandals or thongs at the present time, because actually it's early summer. If you think about it, normally it would be just pleasant, mild weather, spring weather, but today is a summer's day. But what was I saying? Yeah, mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday. But if a human being does it, if you're a mad dog or an Englishman and you go out in the midday sun, then all these artificial, technical, possessed people, if you want to. See, it depends on I'm never very clear on this. But, originally you would probably have had you have negative dead spirits, that are possessed spirits, because they're possessed with a technological being. They're possessed with the minions of the God entity. Those entities, or the spirit even of the God entity, which is a negative, anti-life, anti-human spirit in every way. I know as human beings we can be anti towards ourselves and one another and even other life forms. That's the conditioning of the matrix. That's where you're told that it's okay at a survival level for the lion to kill the deer, that sort of thing. It's a mentality that we adopt over a lifetime, and it seems practical and reasonable, especially if everyone else is doing it. Because if you're a human being and you're surrounded by technical beings and you don't know this, which we don't, and they do things and you assume they're your kind, the same as you gradually become conditioned to think that is normal human behavior. And the only reason we're now getting this promotion of the opposite is because when real humans become more aware or more awake, as they call it, they become more up on all that, and so they want to reverse some of the wrongs, or they want to be how they know they're meant to be. So then the androids have to emulate that. They have to feed the magpie if you're feeding, even though they wouldn't normally even think to do that or want to do that. It's not in their nature to feed real life. And, it's even more extreme even with a human being to probably do that, because the birds usually find their own food anyway, so it's not like you're obliged to. But I particularly do that now because I'm the birds and the animals still seem innocent by comparison, even though much of that is also technical and really a different species, not really real life. Because, I've done the possessed cat stuff, possessed dog. I saw that a few years ago earlier on. That was when I first became aware that not just human beings, there was different species of human beings. At that time, I saw it as just a different personality type, originally. At the end of the year, 5 years, when I first realised there was different types of human beings, and that the different types did matter, because, the psychopathic type is destructive towards the non-psychopathic type, towards a real likelihood. Psychopaths tend to be anti-life and more destructive, and they also do feed off negative energy of humans around them. They don't enjoy happy people, they enjoy the presence of unhappy. And if you are happy, they will endeavour to make you unhappy so they can get the pure human energy. That's another point too. I should just be filming the traffic here maybe. Even, the narcissistic psychopaths, because usually they tend to be both, from what I'm concerned. Which is why it is particularly dangerous. What is he pulling in here for? What is he pulling in here for? There's no reason for him to pull in here. The shop's not open, everything is closed. Although certainly we've had the police car pull in once or twice when we've sat here, which is that's a different matter though, because pet farms is pet farm. Because I was going to make the point that no, never mind dogs. Because I'm doing these videos now showing around giant NBN bubble, that's what it says on the side of that bus, and it's got a robot-like figure next to it. See, all this sort of stuff is, because really you're looking at, robots are really technical robots, and that's really around. Advanced robots, because they are programmed with human thinking. And the human thinking that they're being programmed with now, unfortunately, sadly, to my great surprise and distress, is our thinking and our emotions, and they push us to the limit so they can get the best information, the best human emotion, and to understand the human being so they can take them over. Because you can't influence something or take something over if you're a different species and you don't understand it. But if you understand another species to where you can befriend it, influence it, and take it over, then you will, you will survive a long time, because you will be taking the spirit from the spiritual human beings, because they are more, they don't rust like a robot. Although I was going to show you how they had left the rusty engine, which I thought represented me, because I just at the forum, when I was walking around here, but it was too hot to put the mobile out at that time, and also, I didn't intend to film for hours because I haven't got that much space. But they left a because I said to Patrick, I said, what's this? They dumped this great big car engine, or what? He said it was the main working part of the engine of the car. That's like a human being. So that was telling me that was me. That's how I felt about it, but it was all rusted and old. But it was still the only working part of the car. I'm not making sense here. I'm trying to get it to where I can explain what I think about. Because the car can't go without that part, and neither can this matrix run without the human engine, even though they've made it so that it's old and rusty and at its lowest functioning point, to where we can't break the matrix, but the matrix can break us. If I put that rather artfully, and it's not very nice though, but because even a broken engine, they can still get energy out of it. They can still keep going. In fact, that suits them. They don't want a fully functioning, shiny new engine that can zoom around this matrix and take and with high vibration and all that sort of thing, to where then they look to where they're then shown up or exposed. If you want to look at it, so the human beings have to appear to be the real human beings have to look the worst, and the artificial android beings have to look the best. And they can only do that by incorporating all the human thought and everything that is a positive thing about a human being into their personality, they don't have a personality, but into their acting, shall we say. Because they don't actually have a personality. They download the human personality. They act it out. They're like actors that you see in a movie. And the Matrix is a movie, if you want to look at it that way. It's a negative movie for human beings. I think I can't hold them over much longer. I wanted to show a bit more scenery around Leichhardt today. Maybe just show. I was going to show. I'm showing the just opposite the 7-Eleven, the bird cage, but I just don't. It's just too hot for me to cross there today. No doubt if I go up there now, Patrick will come, so I've got to catch him, because he'll have some money on him, so I'll get him to get the coffee today. He'll have to. And, he won't mind when I tell him I've left the money behind. It's only a few dollars. And but that shows you see, that noise got to me, sidetracked me, to where I lost my concentration. Normally I keep everything in my pocket, because I'm aware that the Matrix does, and the people around you are designed to get you confused, throw you off balance, to where you make mistakes, have accidents, all that sort of thing, and essentially can't cope. And, then they get the negative energy, or they can then control your whereabouts, what you're doing. So that way they're only, because essentially all they want from a human being, they don't want a human being to be living their life or living any sort of life in this earth. They want you to be there just to feed them all your information, all your, everything that they can then use to influence others, to take other human beings under their wing, under their control, so that then they can take them completely over. So that way they have more longevity in the Matrix and more energy, and they survive. But the human being is barely surviving when this is being done. And you don't get any help, because you look pathetical. You look pathetical, and they look like the better choice that even real humans would want to get round with, because they bring you to your lowest point. So therefore, people are not going to help you. That might even avoid you, especially if if the technical beings tell others that you are something that you're not, or less than what you are, and then if they see you getting around like me, exhausted and in bad physical condition, they're not going to be too impressed. So they're not going to think that you have any information or any benefit to them. They're going to believe the other beings, and that's how it works. That's what it's all about. I don't think I explained that well. It's supposed to be just showing things, but I'll have to fold up. Actually, there's 4 pigeons now up on the top of that thing. They won't come out, of course. They're far too far away. But see that white building there? I can actually see them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 4th one come on a different planet. So there's 4 pigeons. That's interesting. I'm not going to go into that synchronicity because I'm too hot. And having this blue tack stuck in my ears too, with a mask and being so hot, it doesn't make you feel very comfortable, to be honest, but it's still better than, getting your eardrums blasted. If I took it out, and then they could make the traffic louder, or the cars can make their engines rev up a bit, and, which is what they do when I don't put stuff in my ears. So it's something that you have to do, and even though you're missing out on actually taking in what you're doing for them, it still saves your nerves a little bit down the track, because if you listen to negative frequencies, you're going to be really rattled and really on edge all the time. I know, because that's how I was for quite a while. And that's like a roller coaster too, because then when you get a little break, you get that relief, but it's not how you're meant to be living. You're meant to be a little bit more on what they call even keel in your emotions and in your, just in your daily life shifts. Wrist is starting to get sore. Fella's finally down. I don't know what it's doing. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even bother me, that sort of thing. But see how these people just cross in front? And that fella's carrying a wind blower because they know that I hate the sound of those wind blowers. Like just to blow a few leaves around, they make all that noise. The same as everything they do now. Like they can do half the jobs they do, but the machinery and the technology, even like the lawnmowers that they use around Henry Street when they come, they were doing it this morning. Before they started up with some other noise, which I don't even know what it was, where it was coming from. They woke me up in bed really early, about 7 o'clock, because I was going to sleep in a bit because I had been up a little bit late. And the night time, provided you don't get the negative beings sending negative technology that disturbs you, you should be able to get a little bit of sleep. Sometimes we keep ourselves awake too. It's but most of the time it's the matrix. I'm having trouble holding up the mobile much longer. I might have to put it down and wait. I do hope Patrick is not going to be much longer. Normally he'd be here by now. See how long I've been sitting here filming. Normally he'd be here. The coffee would be stone cold if he turned up now anyway. but probably doesn't worry him because it's so hot and he's late. Must be about 1:30 maybe. Probably, I'm not sure. I can't get the time from the mobile. It doesn't matter what the time is anyway. So even all these people that walk past, they seem just like normal, natural people that walk past, and they actually aren't. Because most of what is around here is not open, and there's a limited number of houses. See all this traffic too. If none of this traffic is normal traffic going, there's all matrix traffic, all matrix controlled, all matrix converging on this particular spot. Some people don't think this is so, but it is. It's pretty quiet this road today. See, I'm sitting here and they know that I'm exhausted, and I'm not even, I can't hear, even my own voice sounds strange because I've got stuff stuck in my ears. So, you're not really comfortable, even though, I want to be thinking of communicating with someone right this very minute, and actually I'm having trouble. With the clear blue sky, I hope that's something. But, I actually am my hand is aching, my wrist is sore. Because, normally on a day like this, I'd say to Patrick, just go round the corner to the Great Big Park that's just around the corner and sit in there. But since I fell over there, I'm actually got that fearfulness to go in it. I know you're supposed to not do that. Eventually I will, of course, go back to it. But it was such a negative experience for me. Personally, I took it very, negative. Because, I sort of feared the worst, and, in my mind I'm thinking that I would be perhaps in hospital or something. So at that time, I have that memory, you see, and I can't quite push it away. I should be able to push it away, especially as I know that that's what they want. I'm probably putting my hand on the screen because I'm having trouble. I'll just show them. I'll just go and show. See, even that park. I'm not even looking on the sides of the truck. I don't know whether I can get myself off this step here without not holding the mobile, because I'm just not physically agile enough. I know that if this matrix stopped its technology right this very moment and it became a natural world, and all technology was closed down on me, in other words, the technology that is directed around me and at me, and the negative beings patrolling around, and the patrolling cars and vehicles and everything. The only good thing I can say is we haven't seen any planes for about a week, which is rather strange, but of course that means total lockdown. There's no travel and they're not leaving, because I haven't hardly heard any planes. There have been one or two, but usually that's just to sidetrack me visually. But that's interesting. But like I say, it's all if all that was gone, because it's not even a matter of that you've got cars or aeroplanes and things. It's the reality that they're being used in a certain way. They're being used as vehicles against humans to draw them out of living their natural existence, feeling how they would naturally feel. if it was a natural world. Even if you had a natural world where you have technical appliances, they don't have to be so negative. These are deliberately, it's a bit like I say when they do the lawns and they have these really loud machines. It's totally unnecessary. They could easily just use older lawn mowers that only make very small noise. Instead they've got these high-powered things that you can hear a block away. You actually can. Even the buses I can hear a block away when they turn it up. That's not normal. That never used to be and shouldn't be. It's not necessary to make that amount of noise. This is all deliberate. It's part of the anti-life negative frequency, negative sound frequency that is being put against real people at this time, real spiritual human beings at this time, to throw them off balance, to make their life uncomfortable and unpleasant. You know why I'm saying all of this when the person I'm talking to already knows all about it. If you experience this, you know, there's really no need to say it. But of course the videos originally were to, you know, I've said much more in videos than what I even intended, because I knew that a lot of people would not accept the higher, any sort of spiritual aspect of this matrix, or the reality that they're being technologically controlled at a high level, and that most of even what they think is human is not human at all. I never expected to actually say that in a video. I was just, because don't forget that I assumed that real spiritual human beings were part of this technical matrix game too, that they maybe had been fooled into it and thought that it was a benefit. You know yourself. If you're in a, I mean, I don't know. This is not so much personal, but I would think that if you've got a group of friends and you finally found some friends, you know, you're lonely and you finally found some friends, say, and they've accepted you into your group, into their group, and they say to go along with some things that you normally wouldn't if you're on your own. You know, even if they said, even if they picked on someone else, you might think, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt that person too much. You go along with some things. I know this from my own experience because, you know, even if you're in the company of psychopaths, they will twist you round to their way of thinking. You know, things that you would have, that would have bothered you if you were on your own and if you weren't in their company. Don't bother you when they're in their company, because they make it seem that it's okay. It's okay to be a bit colder and they basically, their aim is to really befriend you. Pretend that they are human, like you. That's the beings that are around. And then gradually condition you to be a little bit more like them. So that way they have control over you, because they don't really want you to be a fully functioning spiritual, high-frequency human being. No way. They want you to be a non-functioning, low-frequency human being that they can extract all the goodies off, shall we say. They will emulate you to other people, your good points, because they like that. They're like, it'd be a bit like if you had a really nice dress or a nice outfit or something. They will want to have that outfit. They'll put it on themselves and make sure you don't wear it. So then they look better. It's kind of like that, I think. I don't know if that was a good example, but that's really what it is. So they take what they see, because they know that you might have, they know that you will have better human ideas and better human tastes than them, because they are essentially not human. So naturally they don't think that way. In fact, they think they don't really think, they think at a very basic level at the least. And if you see, you know, like them as empty vessels that are filling themselves up with everything that is human, the same way that humans in some ways now. Like I fill myself up with technology because every time I turn on the TV or watch a computer, I'm filling myself up with technology information, technology ideas. Even though a lot of it is just downloaded from other human beings, including myself. But it's funny that because it becomes more clear or more interesting when you see it on the screen, you think that the technology is better than yourself and better than other real human beings. That's the game. That's the game. That's the name of the Matrix game. And we're all playing it, whether we want to or not. Whether you want to or not, you're still playing it. And if you allow that they're taking that if you're, like it's, like if you think about it this way, Sean, think of it this way. If you meet someone and they're psychopathic, then they're a psychopathic narcissist. They will have to get to know you, to get to get information from you. They'll have to befriend you and get to know you. But with this matrix technology that's all around, that can just download the human thought through technology to the empty vessel android beings, you don't even have a choice with that. Not unless you can turn off all your emotions, all your thinking, and completely be like a zombie. And as a human being, that's impossible. And also they provoke you to bring out high emotion anyway. They make you desperate, they make you agitated, and so then they can extract emotion even if you decide to try to not be high emotion, not to be irritated. But as a human being, even the sound and the sight show that goes on around you, it's impossible to ignore it. I think I'm going to fold up because I think that Patrick just round on the bike. I caught a glimpse of a scooter going round, and he'll just park in front round that little street there. But he'll come over soon. I might just leave it on for a second. But, that's about all. Because if he sees I'm filming, he might not want to be on film. That was it. At least he's only got a t-shirt on, and probably for once not cold on the bike, because he did complain about it being a bit cold on the scooter when it's, say, midnight or something, coming out to Leichhardt. Of course, you have to wear a helmet too on the scooters too. I think everything should be free choice. Don't forget that from a spiritual point of view, a lot of that death and injury thing is something that is very much propaganda put into us from a young age to go in. But Patrick,
coffee?
I haven't got any coffee because I left my card on the bench. And I didn't realise that I'd left the key. I hope you've got a key to the door, haven't you?
Yeah, you've also got one at the window.
Oh yes, but okay, good, because I left everything behind, and I didn't realise till I was up on Parramatta Road. So you have to go and get the coffee.
Yeah.
Do you want me to come up with you?
It's up to you. You can wait here if you want.
It's very hot, isn't it? I've got a heavy jacket on. I must be able to.
Yeah, if you want to wait here, you mind my stuff for me.
Mind your stuff.
I'll just leave my bag there. Is that right?
Yeah. A coffee. You can bring the sweeteners separate if you like.
It's up to you. You want me to put it in and stir it, or you want me to?
Bring them and bring them separate, and I'll have. Can you get 5 of them?
Yeah.
Because they're not very strong.
Okay.
And get a drink too. I'm very thirsty. It's very hot. Isn't it hot
nice.
today? Don't you think it's very hot?
Yeah, it's nice.
What?
It's nice.
it is, but it's hot on that side, and I've got a winter's jacket on, as you can see.
Yeah. I went for a jog just before and then had a hot cold shower, so I feel good.
I'm still not up for a cold shower even when
No,
it's
hot
hot.
cold.
But
No,
certainly you
hot
can.
shower and then just 1 minute cold again. Anyway, I shall return, I guess.
What's that?
I shall return. I'll be back.
I can't hear you.
I'll be back.
You'll be back, will you? Okay, like the... said I'll be back like the Terminator. Goodness gracious. Oh dear. Better turn it off, actually, because he doesn't know I've actually got the thing going. He's used to me now, because he knows I can build a mobile up over the last 2 weeks. That's the first time I bought the mobile, you know, completely out when I come out. I never wanted to, but I can do that now. It's only taken me 4 years. Well, actually, I didn't have the mobile 4 years and 8 months ago. I got the mobile about... I think I got the mobile about... When did I get the mobile? You know, the Matrix came down on me at the beginning of the year, just before Christmas. Is when it came down and exposed itself and started hassling me big time, should we say. But I didn't get the mobile till the following year, so it was like well over a year after all the Matrix had, you know, come down on me that I got the mobile. So actually it's been about 3.5 maybe years now since I've been making the videos, I guess. I've really lost track of it. I could find out on the exact day. So it's taken me that long to come outside, come down here and film. Oh, sorry, I forgot that I had the mobile down because I didn't want to have it pointed at Patrick when he came, because otherwise he'd know I was filming. He won't mind the fact that he's just on the trade saying that he's going to get the coffees, like that's something. But I tell you, we could have had some very controversial and very intense conversations if I filmed every time he opened his mouth. Even yesterday, the coffee went more on the ground than down the mouth because just talking about, you know, complaining about the shop situation. So it's very, it's stressful, but also it's very stressful because a lot of your own relatives sometimes don't want to accept how bad the situation is. And because they know that you see the world differently, so they don't take it as you just whinging about the shop's not being open or you're not being able to go in the shop without signing in with a mobile and all this sort of rubbish that is now the case. And also, there is doubts about over the next few months what will be for myself. Evidently, because they will open up everything in about a month or a month and a half for most people, and even travel and different things, and the borders will probably open up, all this sort of stuff. They're saying, but they are going to show preference towards those that have went along with the Matrix conditions, if you follow me. And I obviously aren't one of those, so I won't be able to just walk into the shop or just cross the border or cross any borders or go anywhere as I like. But most people, if they have went along with the Matrix ideas, you know, they will have access to everything. That's been the passport to freedom. Passport, I emphasise that, to freedom. They actually said that on the signs around. I think your way to freedom is, is vaccination, etc. And I better fold up actually because I just Patrick will be back. And I have lost sight of my filming. I don't know what the traffic has been like. I'll just show you, if I can just get up. Oh dear. Sorry about that because my face is quite close to the mobile, so my grunting is going. I can't get up otherwise. Some people say, can't you do it without making so much noise? Well, actually, I can't. And even when I was younger and healthier, if I got out of breath or out of condition, I tended to do that. But just before Patrick comes back, see, it's actually, it's got 7-Eleven's just up there on that. But I've got to look at that sky. Look at that sun. There you go. Where is the sun? Am I getting it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I can't even look at it. It's actually bright. But look at that. A clear blue sky. Clear blue sky. Everywhere. And very hot. If I had a t-shirt on instead of all this junk, I would probably be able to make a more clear. But look at that sky. Sky. 350 Parramatta Road, that water shop. But look at that sun and that sky. Oh, jeez, it's a bit slopey there. I hope it's coming out. Oh. I'm sweating right through here. I think that is Patrick coming back in the distance there. He's coming back carrying the coffee, so I better turn this off because the car lights are still on these cars.